The surface of the Sun is 6,000 degrees. Its core, 15 million degrees. Inside this machine, scientists will reach 150 million degrees, 10 times hotter than the core of the Sun. ITER. It's called ITER. It's being built right now in southern France by more than 30 countries. A few grams of hydrogen will be injected into the chamber. Magnets so powerful they form an invisible cage will trap it. And then, fusion. The same reaction that powers every star in the universe, recreated on Earth. The goal? 500 megawatts of fusion power. Let me show you how it works. The first thing they had to do was protect the entire reactor from the planet itself. Earthquakes are common in southern France, and a building this heavy, this radioactive, this precise cannot be allowed to shake. So engineers did something never done before for a science experiment. They made the reactor float. They installed 493 rubber and metal bearings under the entire reactor complex. On top of those bearings, a single concrete slab, 9,300 square meters, 1.5 meters thick. And on top of that slab, 440,000 tons of building, machinery, magnets, and the reactor itself. The whole thing rests on rubber. If France ever has an earthquake, the ground moves, the slab slides. The reactor inside doesn't even feel it. It's the heaviest floating building on Earth. Then comes the Bioshield, a cylindrical wall of reinforced concrete 3 meters thick surrounding the pit where the machine will live. This is the wall that absorbs the radiation when fusion neutrons start flying. Inside that bioshield is a 30-meter deep circular hole. Everything you are about to see has to be lowered into it from above. There is no other way in. The first thing that goes into the pit is the cryostat. Think of it as the world's largest stainless steel thermos, 29 meters tall, 29 meters wide. Its job is to seal the reactor from the outside world and create a perfect vacuum inside. But it was too big to ship in one piece. So India built it in 54 separate segments. Those segments traveled by ship to Marseille, then by special convoy on French roads at night, escorted by police, moving slower than walking pace. At the ITER site, in a 5,000 square meter on-site workshop, those 54 pieces were welded into 4 giant rings: base, lower cylinder, upper cylinder, and lid. The base alone weighs 1,250 tons. Lowering it into the pit in May 2020 was the heaviest crane lift of the entire project. Inside the cryostat goes the heart of the machine, the vacuum vessel. The donut-shaped chamber where the plasma actually lives. 5,200 tons of steel built in 9 identical D-shaped sectors, each one as tall as a 4-story building. Korea built 4, Europe built 5, and this is where the project nearly died. When the first sectors arrived from South Korea, engineers measured the surfaces where they would join. The numbers came back wrong. Not by centimeters, not even by half a centimeter, by a few millimeters. To anyone else, that's nothing. To a fusion reactor, it's a death sentence, because that chamber will hold radioactive tritium under perfect vacuum. A leak would shut down the entire facility. France's Nuclear Safety Authority took one look and froze the project. The most expensive science experiment in history stopped for 2 full years. Engineers had to invent something nobody had ever done at this scale: rebuild the welding surfaces of a 440-ton component while it sat in southern France. They added new layers of metal, machined them flat, verified every micron, sector by sector. By the time it was done, first plasma had slipped from 2025 all the way to 2034. 9 years lost to a few millimeters. But the vacuum vessel is not the most extreme component. The magnets are. To trap a plasma at 150 million degrees, you need a magnetic cage stronger than anything humans have ever built. The spine of that cage is the central solenoid. 18 meters tall, 6 modules stacked on top of each other, each one weighing 122 tons. It is the largest pulsed superconducting magnet ever made. Around it sit 18 D-shaped coils, each as tall as a 6-story building. Around them, another 6 giant ring-shaped magnets. Together, 3,000 tons of superconducting hardware, all wound from niobium tin cable that only conducts current at 4.5 Kelvin. That is colder than almost anywhere in nature. To keep these magnets cold, ITER needs the most powerful cryogenic plant ever built for science, pumping liquid helium through every single coil. Now imagine assembling all of this, from the bottom up, inside one pit, in a sequence where each step locks the next. You cannot install the central solenoid before the vacuum vessel. You cannot install the vacuum vessel before the cryostat base. And once any of it is in place, you cannot take it out. Here is the truth nobody says out loud. No country on Earth could build this alone. Not the United States, not China, not all of Europe combined. The cost is too high, the parts are too complex, the expertise too scattered. So they did the only thing possible. They split the machine itself. The US built the central solenoid, China built the magnet feeders, Russia built the upper port plugs, Japan built the toroidal field conductors, India built the cryostat, Korea and Europe built the vacuum vessel. The reactor isn't just an engineering project, it's a treaty made of metal. The contractor running the final assembly is the TAC-1 Consortium, a partnership between China and France. They built tools that exist nowhere else on Earth. A subassembly tool 22 meters tall, holding a vacuum vessel sector and 2 giant coils together with millimeter alignment, then lowering all of it as a single 1,250-ton module into the pit. An upending tool that flips coils from horizontal shipping position into vertical assembly position. Welding robots that crawl inside the vessel and fuse stainless steel walls hundreds of millimeters thick, because no human welder can hit the tolerance required. Every joint is X-rayed. Every weld is logged. Every component is tracked from the factory floor in Korea or India or Italy, all the way to its final position in southern France. When the machine finally fires up, sometime in 2034, the sequence is this. Cryogenics cool the magnets to operating temperature. Pumps strip the vacuum vessel down to 1/1,000,000th of atmospheric pressure. A few grams of deuterium and tritium are injected. The central solenoid fires a 15 million amp current through the gas. The gas becomes plasma. The toroidal coils squeeze it into a ring. Microwave heaters and neutral beam injectors push it past the temperature of the sun's core, then past it 10 times over. And for 400 seconds, almost 7 minutes, fusion happens. For 400 seconds, the inside of that machine becomes the hottest place in the solar system, hotter than anything humans have ever made, hotter than the inside of any star you can see in the sky tonight. Built by hand, lowered into a pit in southern France. ITER will not send a single watt to the grid. That was never its job. Its job is to prove that controlled fusion works at industrial scale, so the next reactor, called Demo, can be built to actually generate electricity. ITER is the bridge. 1 million parts, 35 countries, 2 decades of construction. One single machine designed to put a star inside a building and keep it there. If it works in 2034, every power plant on Earth becomes obsolete. If it fails, we learn what fusion actually demands, and we start again. Either way, what is being built right now in southern France is the closest humanity has ever come to building a sun, and the world will know in 2034 if we actually pulled it off.